Okay, yes. Tax exempt 501c3 trust, John McCagg with Liberty Aid Academy. Hey, here we are. It's Monday at noon. I have been going live for a long time now. Monday at noon and Thursday at 7 p.m. Uh, we recently went through Hurricane Ian and lost a lot. And two people donated. Thank you very much for donating, you two people that did, to help us. And I never really asked for donations outside of what I do before, but two people did after a decade of helping people. So uh, I don't feel obliged to do live events anymore. Hey, good afternoon, G. I'm probably going to move to subscription stuff because, no one like makes regular donations ever and never has outside of like subscriptions, the course prices stuff. I can't do this for free. That's not the way it works. So, look for this live, easy stuff to decrease a little bit as far, without our subscription, and we'll move to more of a subscription based uh, thing. Because, honestly, you gotta think about it. No one can see me live. You follow? There's two people, two viewers on this. Now, I've been doing this a decade. And for years, right, my tagline was, I guarantee to beat any bank or any government. I guarantee it. And that's what I did for many years. And now I moved to this coursework and stuff like that. Still here. Everything's fine. Everything I do is legal. Everything I do is legal. Okay, everything I do is legal. Uh, and yet, I've been helping people with proof for 1 decade. You follow me? A decade, right? Two viewers. I mean, there is no other human alive that has documented success the way I have it. Okay, no one has it. My own success, I documented, over every step of that I took, is still up, and super many testimonials from so many happy, successful students here at the school. So, you know, I don't think there is no one else with this level of like proof and truth. I've been looking for a long time, and I'm coming up on 62 years old now, and my work is spiritual and financial technology. Right, I have the leading edge, the razor's edge of that technology with proof. Right. Hey, John, trying to get a new car, but my credit up is jacked up with this trust. Help me get a new car within 6 months. I mean, there have to be some extraneous reasons to get a new car. I mean, buying a new car is extremely stupid in almost every case, except if you're gonna, run that thing into the dirt as like, a vehicle used for your business, something like that, and you're going to do the maintenance, and you can do the maintenance and all that. That way, from the jump, okay, this is a vehicle we can trust because we maintain it and so on. So you're going to pay that super high extra premium up front that there's no reason to pay to get, something that technologically has, like every year they make every car vehicle more technologically breakable. That's just what they do, right? More junk to break, and it always breaks. So you don't know which one's going to be the one that's going to break all the time, all that technology. So it's actually kind of better to wait a few years to see, oh, which one didn't break. Definitely will be a daily vehicle. No, daily vehicle to the end of time for your business. You know what I mean? You have several other vehicles. You have, several 100,000 miles on it. That's what you do. Otherwise, I just don't see the reason for a new vehicle. I just don't. Especially with this whole push to electric vehicles. It's fantastic. I love it. Electricity is made for free from air, almost all of it, for turbines. So, that's free, but the grid won't support that many vehicles. It just won't. So, what's going to happen with gas prices over time? They'll go down because less demand. You follow me? places have outlawed using gas engine cars like 2035, California, Europe. You know what I mean? Some pretty big players have done that. And so there's going to be a switchover. So you buy a gas car now, it's going to be worth less and less every second you have it. Same with everybody's gas car of any kind, right? They're just, you can't use them. We're not making them anymore. And if they're not making parts for them anymore, well, you know what I mean? So, but this is why my information in the inner circle is super important because of this question, because we're in a 64-year time loop that ends in 2033. And so you make your decisions, oh, there's just less than 11 years left of time that always restarts in 1969, right? And so, if you don't know that information, you may make decisions that don't make sense. I just use a used vehicle and don't pay much for it, and make sure it's maintained well, has low miles, and you can get a vehicle that's not like in high demand, checked by a good mechanic and get it for a reasonable amount of money. Um, but and that brings us to I could really talk about this a while, but you know that's why anyone that has lent money, what happens in 2030? Oh, the end of time. Tiffany, every time. Why don't people read my inner circle? Everyone sees part of my work as something they don't really need. It's not really, I really need this trust, and that's why now. If you're missing some of my information, you're missing so much information. You really are. And so, if you know when time ends, which anyone that has read the information in the inner circle, if you know when it ends, you make your decisions based on that. So you're like, okay, well, stuff ends in 2033. There's going to be gas around till then, right? They're still going to be making gas vehicles up until 2035. Only thing is, so many people are going to be going electric that the grid's going to be like overtaxed, right? It'll be hard to get electricity. They're going to jack the prices like crazy on electricity. They will. They'll be like, oh, we didn't think of it. But this chaotic event happened, and now you got to pay for electricity super much. Like this whole, you know, hot air hoax about the war in Russia. You know what I mean? They'll just switch everybody electric cars and then come up with the planned problem. Why it's going to cost so much? What's going to happen to the gas prices? Could go down all the time because less people using gas and diesel. That's it. So new cars, I don't think so. Not unless you're going to be. I put 100,000 miles on my vehicles. I run a maintenance business or a delivery business or something like that, where a certain vehicle gets you, over several 100,000 miles. Best delivery, best, lowest maintenance, lowest use of gas or whatever. You know what I mean? Like you're going to be using that sucker up yourself and doing the maintenance. And people don't really know what their situation is going to be year to year. You could switch vehicles based on the situation. So I just don't. I don't see it, G. These questions, I'm just not visible to the general public. You follow me? I have to pay to get my Trust Crash Course viewed on YouTube. You know what I mean? It's just people that have done my work come to this. No, there's no one new coming to this. You know what I mean? So it just doesn't make sense for me to waste my time on this live twice a week, where I could be like, oh, let's have a planned time where, if I'm going to go live, I'll do a subscription with students who really want to learn my work, and we'll go over everything. But this kind of like, oh, I'm trying to do, the marketing information basic thing on what the trust does. I'm kind of so super far past that I'm probably gonna switch modes. You know what I mean? I'll be working on that solution to have someone else like be interviewed on a live show. We're working on that as a team. I hear that's possible. We heard that from one of our students, and we're getting some help trying to achieve that ability. Because every other platform that has it just cuts me off. Because I wouldn't mind doing a show where I could have a back and forth with a student, that's had success, and they can sit here and explain their outcomes, and it's not just me talking. That's what I've been trying to do for years. But every time I try and do it, the platform just blocks me. Like, oh, your account's cut off. It's like, oh, you know. So many times, it's just we have so few resources to try and get on another platform, get it all started, get it all planned into our marketing, all that stuff costs so much money, and it's never successful. So we're just going to try this YouTube thing, but other than that, we'll probably move to a subscription for live stuff for me talking. So because basically the people that come here are doing my work, there's no way YouTube is gonna like leak my consistently excellent right live event twice a week. They're never gonna let it be seen, and I've been doing this for I don't know years now, uh, and three people here. You see what I'm saying? So uh, it's just my time could be spent producing other technology, like focusing on the free home stuff and everything like that. Really, actually, that's already the technology's already proven. It's just getting some testimonials and stuff. And so that's why I really want to do this because people are like, well, I have time. I don't have, they have issues with doing it. But if you could just come to this live event, that'll happen and people can ask questions and get feedback and stuff. Yeah, Tiffany, you should. You should sign up for Inner Circle. That's why you do the bundle thing, because it's everything. I made an over 60% discount on everything that we do. So you get the trust, you get all the supporting work. It's not just get the trust. You got to know what to do with it. And if you don't have this trust, well, you can't do anything. But if you have the trust, it's like, okay, what do I do? And here's a list of things you can do, all our training. And then we also I teach, how to strategize what to do first and so on. So what situations apply to you and so on like that. Have you ever changed status or simply, yeah, no, see, that's a misunderstanding, Tiffany. See, you're talking about your person, you're not talking about you. And so that doesn't apply to me and it doesn't apply to you, even if it were possible, right? Uh, if it were possible. See, you're talking about using one of their corporate entities, right? A taxable entity, a sub corporation of the Income We Trust / USA Inc., and using that sub corporation called a person, a straw man, whatever, right? Created upon your birth or whatever. Here's your paperwork as a slave to the we, right? To the devil. And so you have your paperwork, and that trust exists, and then this trust exists, and that this trust overcomes that spiritual contract that your parents made with the devil and trapped your soul. So no, this is the only way out of that trap. Just as because everyone knows you can sign a contract with the devil for your soul, you just didn't know you already did it. The opposite is true too, and that's what this trust does, right? And that's why it's a tax exempt 501c3 non-reporting trust. You'd never report. You never report your financial information to the IRS ever. They don't want it. It's their rules. It's not my rules. I wrote the trust to just follow their rules. The IRS decided this is the way the wealthy elite are going to live. This is going to be the back door. And so this is how everyone could do it, right? And so that's it. Everyone could do it this way. So what you're talking about, Tiffany, is changing the status of your, taxable entity called a person. Is the status of that person changeable in any way, shape, or form now? Any status change that you're not a slave, right, under that is done by this trust. There is no other method, right? There's no, jurisdiction. You work for the devil, period. There's no status change. That's just it, period. There's nothing outside of that designation, that status. If you look at the word national as citizen, people go on about that. Just read the basic wording in what a passport, the rules are. And it says national as citizen are synonyms. They're just using a word, the word private means non-statutory in a trust. What does that mean? It's not, You don't use a statutory agent to create this trust. That's what it means. That's all it means. That means private, right? You did use a public licensed someone, right? Like a lawyer or an accountant or a law firm or an accounting firm or something like that. You didn't do that. Or the Secretary of State, you didn't do that. I teach you this information. You create the trust yourself. It's private, right? Created yourself, non-statutory. You didn't use an agent of the state. Okay, that's it. That's why I say with the We Trust, they started that too, right? They made you all slaves that way. Oh, okay. So you can do the same to get yourself out. And this is how it's done, right? This is why I'm alive and why I do this twice a week. And it's also why I can never be seen on YouTube, right? Just can't be seen. No problem, Tiffany. I appreciate your questions. Everyone is under mind control, right? Planned out to the last little tiny detail, rat in a maze. Humans, right? They got it. They got us. They got us pegged in every single detail. Someone wakes up first and tells the other, rats in the maze. That's all I'm doing. Thank you for your patience. No. That's why I'm here, and that's why I'm going to focus more. Like, I realize, these live events aren't going to basically anyone new because I'm not visible on YouTube because I have proof. I spread the truth. That's why I can never be seen. Can you imagine people go on YouTube, right? Here I am. I'm on YouTube a decade, right? Proof for a decade. No one has more proof than me. 7 viewers on live, right? 7 viewers. Can you imagine people that go live and they're talking about nothing really useful? No one talks about really too much usefulness on YouTube. Really, it's just like, oh, here's how you do this or that. But some views are like, okay, that guy got 73 views for his how to fix a carburetor thing, or what, you know what I mean? And then there's someone else who's doing, this is my badass car or something like that, and they have like hundreds of thousands of views. How, that's controlled opposition. If you have 10K on anything or above, you're simply one of them, and you're lying about you're lying for a living. That's what you're doing. That's the controlled opposition out there. They are the mind control programmers, the ones that you interact with on YouTube, right? Any 10K anything is guaranteed one of them. It's not possible to do that. Look at this, 8 viewers. You follow me? Like, you have to look to see if someone has the amount of views I do on things. No one's going to have the proof that I do, but you have to be like, oh, okay, someone might have something useful and engaging that has very few views. The rest of them would be like, oh, I watched a couple of videos and then I figured out they're lying about this. I study them to figure out what their lies are. You know what I mean? What is the veil they're putting up? What is the shape of it? What are they hiding? You see what I'm saying? They're always lying. They're always hiding the truth. So it's like, what are they lying about? That's what they're useful for, a negative barometer. Hey, Marvin. How you doing, Marvin? So that's what's up. I had a good question. Oh, hey, great news. Sue will be posting the proof of this, but not just copyright. We got copyright. My copyright with the trust was approved on for the government too, at copyright.gov. It's a pretty strict process to get a trust through. It's actually they basically said no way it's going to happen, and then it happened. Because I guess they looked into who I was and decided. I mean, honestly, it was total block. They weren't going to do it, and then they just like approved. Like, whoa, So anyway, we could go into the trust a little bit. Had a really good question. I just did a video about it today, but we should go over this. It's really rarely. I mean, I love it. Students who ask questions, boy, the ones that read all my work and stuff, and really take the time to ask good questions, boy, that helps a lot. If anybody saw my video, they might. I made it a little bit before this, but it was a great question. and people that follow my work, okay? Because, hey, yeah, I'm probably not going to be doing this live stuff too much more. I'm not. Unless it's subscription. I'm gonna talk with my team tomorrow, work that out. But it's just kind of a waste of my time. Like I'm the one that finds out all the truth that exists at Earth, so I have to like go do that. You know what I mean? Like I create the technology here. I'm not just the teacher. I'm always creating the technology that exists for the human race. If you think about it, really, obviously, and it's common for. Mayor Obama says it's common for. All right, well, I'll focus on what we're doing here. Anyway, it's just common for a perfect master to get mixed up that they're the savior because and no one else is doing anything, right? In a body, no one else is doing anything unless I have figured out the technology. So I need to spend pretty good amount of my time doing that. Focusing on that, get that new technology figured. So here was a great question. This is what. Let's just dive into this because it was such a great question. I'm not going to give away who asked the question. If you want to jump on here and say you did it, great. You know what I mean? I'm happy to give the credit. I know who it is. Uh, but it was a great question. And it was about how does this section of code give 501c3 status to this trust? It was such a great question. Uh, and let's look at it because I'm not going to go through all the stuff on today's show, but I want to go through this particular aspect. It was such a good question. Okay, because what we're doing here is we're reading this section of code and applying it to this trust, and that's what makes everything fine for me and everyone year after year after year for this trust. Right? It's great. I know it worked and so on, but this is really good after this many years. Someone really came to the table, read every single word of my work and what it is about, and asked this great question. So let's go through this section of code. 26 U.S. Code, Section 508, Special Rules with respect to Section 501c3 organizations. So Section 501c3 means you're tax exempt. This type is also reporting exempt, so you don't fill out forms every year. This part of the code relates to just the tax exempt portion of it, the 501c3 status of it. Okay, so these are special rules to get 501c3 status. So we're gonna drill down. Music is free. Alfredo, hey, I love you, brother. Okay. How do I explain that our trust is not illogical? Illogical. Yeah, you won't be able to do that. Program slaves don't use logic, so that's not possible. You can't do that. No. Humans are trained to use logic. That's never going to be possible. Great question, though. No. Yeah, no. I can't do that, right? I spend all day doing that every day. Try doing it for a decade. You'll never do it. I know it works. Because law man, God let me teach. Totally. But logical? No. I explain it, but logic is what we need is not logic. We need proof in the end. And I have proof that it works for me and others. Uh, because you have to apply logic of enslavers, which I do, and explain this is how they got us enslaved. I already explained that today. That's the logic part of it. Some individuals like having slaves. That's the logic, and this is how they did it with the retrust, but also using the same bit of legalese and hijinks that they used, right? By setting up a pathway to do this, you could also exit the matrix, the pathway. You could exit your slavery, you could exit reincarnation, you could exit their jurisdiction, you can exit taxes, you can exit everything with one simple method, including death. No one that signs this trust will die before Judgment Day. On and on and on. This is the only solution. It has proof. But we're just, see, I meant illegal. Oh, okay. Yeah, illegal. I don't. As again, I mean, I opened this in 2016. Said I was going to do it, did it, been posting on YouTube ever since, and been getting testimonials ever since of everyone else doing it. So the only way, my rhetoric, me talking is like a Freemason. They just tell us, fairy tale. The fairies tell fairy tales, and if it's a good fairy tale, you believe it. That's what we're trained to do, right? I never do that. Here's my proof, and then I explain it. Okay, my proof is up. My proof has been up. My proof continues to go up. It's been up for a long time. It's irrefutable. Go check it out. Actually, no other human has proof unless they've done my work. I've never found anyone. I never have. And I've been looking and looking and looking. If anyone finds anyone, I say this all the time, and I still have never found anyone. Never doing any kind of financial or spiritual technology with proof. I've never found another individual, never. Not one time. If you ever find one, let me know. But that's how you know it's legal, because I'm sitting here with problem free, using my trust year after year, and so is everyone else. That's the only way you could know that it's legal. Not because I'm sitting here explaining the law to people. You're asking me how do I know it's legal? In the middle of me explaining the law that allows it to happen. So explaining laws isn't enough for you or anyone. You follow me? Explaining the rules and the laws, and which I do over and over and over, years on end, right? That doesn't actually do anything. It's an explanation just for the super elite, super smart people that are really into research, and they look it up, and it's still not enough for them. It's only slightly useful. That's what Bear Baba would call intellectual knowledge, which is nothing, right? It's nothing until you put it into action and see if it works, which I've done now. And how long have I been doing this? A decade, come on. Right, I've been doing the debt stuff with proof. Go look at the first 4 videos on this channel. Non-disclosure agreement, settlement checks. I beat the bankers with proof. Right, back in 2014. Those videos are, released in 2014. The information was gathered and lost since 2013. So a decade. You follow? Yeah. So no other human has that. That's the only way you'll know if things are legal. If I've done them, no problems to me. In fact, I have legal positive outcomes if it were to come up. Also, go look at our on YouTube. You can search by date. Go look at June 6th, 2022, June 6th of this year, okay? Go look at our student Jaren's testimonial, proof from the court and the bank, right? Everybody's, yeah, we'll hold it in court. Yes. Go look at the proof. You see what I'm saying? I have proof for basically, now that this has been going on, every single situation that a human would ever get into. Proof for this long, and for me going live this long, just proves everyone else is a liar. That's all it proves. That's all it proves. You see, no one else has proof, and here I sit. Blocked, shadow banned, can't be seen, pay $5,000 a month, pay basically every single penny we get in the door that doesn't pay for our team goes to marketing on YouTube to be seen. And this is the level of being seen. 5 viewers. You follow me? 5 after 1 decade of proof. The only human alive. You follow me? I never can find another one. I bring this up every time. Does anyone post a link of, oh no, there's just someone else who's got proof? No, not ever, not once, not ever. Sure, someone posts something like, what are you talking about? They don't have proof. This is just Freemason hoax. They don't. That's not even a real name on the YouTube channel. It's like, what? You see, it can never be found. It's sad. I look for years. You see this? I don't look anymore because there isn't anyone. Go look for years. I did. I had a show, I get banned from having shows now, but I was co-hosting a show looking for people with proof. Never found them. Never. Never. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy, I know. Anyway, let's get into this one topic I want to deal with today, okay? And we're talking about this section of code that makes it legal to do this, right? So we went through the heading. New organizations must notify the secretary that they are applying for recognition of Section 501c3 status, except as provided in subsection C. So what does that say? If you want to get 501c3 status, you have to apply through the secretary, right, of the Treasury or the IRS. That's what it says right there. That's what it says to get 501c3 status. That's how you have to do it. It's the only method unless you fit this exception below. And that's C, right below. It says, look at C. Okay, we'll go down to C. Exceptions, mandatory exceptions. Great. Subsections A and B shall not apply to, right? In other words, you don't have to apply, right, if you fall into these categories. Churches, comma. They're integrated auxiliaries. Okay, that comma disassociates them, those items, except the identifier that associates them is the word there, that pronoun, right? So now they're combined. Churches, comma, nothing else has been introduced up to this moment in this phrase, right? In A. Only churches. And then it says there, a pronoun to the thing that's already been identified. They're integrated auxiliaries. You follow me? Right there. And then another comma. Then it says comma and. Okay, it's separated, but it says and. Okay? So now it's like we're not talking about churches. It's a double separation. You see what I'm saying? And there's no pronoun. This is total separation. It says conventions. Okay, well, that's a standalone thing. Conventions is, we'll get into this, but let's look at the semantics of this. It says and conventions or association of churches or. Okay, so I've always read it this way, and I want to explain why I've read it this way. It says and conventions or association of churches. You follow me? So this question was, what if you read it like conventions of churches or associations of churches? You follow me? Instead of being conventions and it's separate. Well, I'll tell you why that doesn't work, and let's go through the reasons for that. The reason for that, okay? Now, if you want to use a term in any legalese, okay, you have to explain what the words you're using mean. In other words, in the document or in the body of your organization, in this case the IRS, in the document, like this code 508, if they use the word convention, they have to give a definition, otherwise you don't know what it means, right? So the IRS says, the IRS doesn't give a definition for the word convention. It doesn't have it. You see what I'm saying? But now, and so it doesn't have an identification of convention or a thing called conventions of churches. It doesn't, and that's a further limiting identifier, right? It doesn't have that definition of convention of anything. You see, or the word convention itself. It doesn't have a definition, period. Now, the next part, it says, or association of churches. Those are linked together. Association of churches. Oh, okay. That's in there. Integrated auxiliary, association of churches. Okay, those are all three clearly church items. They have the word church in them. In their integrated auxiliary mean churches integrated auxiliaries. They use the pronoun. All three of those have church in them. All of them. You see? And so you can link churches to churches associations. Those two have definitions, association and churches. The IRS identifies. So you say, oh, okay. But conventions, it doesn't have that. You follow? So you have to go elsewhere to it. Okay, if you don't identify language in your legal document, well, then how will anyone know what the definitions are? Well, in America, the accepted legalese dictionary, right, full of definitions, is called Black's Law. Okay, that's where you go when an organization or a document hasn't made a full definition of the terms that they're using, you see? And so, I'll get in questions in a minute, I just want to finish this. And so, It doesn't say anything in uh, the definition of conventions in Black's Law about conventions of churches. It doesn't say that. It just says convention. You know what I mean? And so it's identified as an agreement between two parties. There are three parties in a trust, right? There's three parties. There's the grantor, the trustee, and the beneficiary. Okay, and you don't have to name the beneficiary, so you don't have to name that party, and an individual can hold the position of two of the parties, grantor and trustee. You see what I'm saying? And so people are like, oh, that's a grantor trust. It's like every trust is a grantor trust. What are you talking about? Every trust is a grantor trust. Every trust is a grantor trust. What what do you mean? It's a grantor trust. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, that. And see, they don't understand anything about trust when they say that. They're just you know, one of the highly paid programming liars, or one of their outcomes, right? one of their trainees, one of their trained pets, right? That's all they are. So, uh, because you have to look. Okay, again, we're going back to this document. Okay, where do you get the word convention? Oh, convention, agreement between two parties. A trust is an unusual. Uh, it is the unusual type of organization that it's not just like, oh, I'm a member. It's an LLC. No, no, that's not the way a trust works. And so here's the way. Let me go back into the grantor trust. Grantor trust is a hoax. That they're, oh, you should be grantor and trustee. You have to be. What are you talking about? You really have to be, because this is what your soul was with we, the devil. You see what I'm saying? And you want your soul out of that jurisdiction. Well, you're now an adult. You follow me? You're not a child where your parents are like, hey, you're with the devil. Enjoy. So is everyone else. We're just doing what we're told. Yay. Okay. Well, that's a great excuse. You're so intelligent. I'm so glad you were my parents. What are you thinking about? Anyway, so now we find ourselves under the jurisdiction of the devil, of the we trust, thanks to our parents. So we're like, how will we get out of that? Well, we're an adult, right? Only someone 18 or older can hold the position of trustee legally, right? And so any position, right? Beneficiary could be under age 18, okay? But and you don't have to sign as beneficiary, right? You could just be chosen as beneficiary. So, but the other was you have to sign and get, publicly notarized, notarized by a public notary. Okay, so now you're like, okay, I'm an adult. I know what my soul was with the devil. So who could get you out of it? You. It's your soul, right? It's your soul now. It's not up to your parents anymore. You're 18 or older. Your parents got no jurisdiction over your soul, but the devil does. So now you could be like, oh, I'm going to sign knowingly, right? There's no subterfuge in this trust as there was in the one you signed with the government, right? Who your owner, your slave owners, right? There is no subterfuge. This is all open. You're doing it yourself. You're choosing. You're the grantor. Your soul is now changing jurisdiction as an adult knowingly. Grant, you're going to do it. I'm going to grant my soul to this. And then you're alive, right? This is a living trust. You're alive, right? So who else do you trust to watch over you? The government? No, you're trustee. I'm going to put my soul in here. I'll give it to Jesus, and I'm going to watch out over it while I'm here. I'm trustee. If you don't get the simple logic of that, it's impossible to help you. You see what I'm saying? Like, the programming up in here, the things I have to answer questions to are just, this is incredibly simple. Anyone could do this. I could, slice and dice every term down to the, low it down to the letter. You know what I mean? I really can. And explain everything to that level, and that's fine and that's cool. And that's why I want to move to more of a subscription based thing, because only people that have the trust of it can see me. Despite all the money I pay every month to be seen. It's crazy, you know what I mean? These fallen angels run everything. It's such a pain in the ass. Okay, so anyway, the point I wanted to get across today. It was a really good question that somebody brought up in a private consultation, and it was really a deep question into it. And anyway, that's the deep answer that come out of it. I put out a video on it today without so much detail, but let's see what Cecilia has here. I took my trust paperwork to my local trust bank and was denied because the paperwork was originated outside the U.S. I was confused, but we'll try another bank this week. Good. Uh, that's good because one of the directions in opening this trust, right? You open it two separate banks, right? The same trust in two separate banks. So what do? You have a list of like 5 or 6 banks you're gonna apply with. Just apply until two say yes, because the first one will block everyone that stops. Oh, I want to bank at Chase. Chase like no, denied, and that's been happening commonly lately because people just ended like, oh my god, duh, yeah. Well, you didn't go to many different places like the directions said. And if you had planned it out in the beginning, you see, you didn't know what you're up against. You didn't read the inner circle. You don't know that everything around you is these fallen angels that can read your mind and everything. And you got a weak, chink in your armor in your mind, and they go right for it. If you had a set up and planned several, appointments at say 5, 6 different banks and so on, the first one wouldn't have denied you. Sounds illogical? No, you just don't know what you're up against. You have no idea what you're up against until you read this information. Everyone is asleep and programmed, and they have no idea how to, combat their slave owners. They have no idea. It's just because I've been doing it so long that I figured out how to beat them. That's all. And so that's why I'm here to share the information how to beat them. It's legal, and once you understand the spiritual technology and what they can do and can't do, then they're easy to beat that way too. You just have to know the truth and they're super easy to beat. Okay. Your hot photo here. Okay. XXX 5666 and 69 and FUN. Okay, well, yeah. So out of 9 viewers, I know you have 10 viewers. So one of them's, obviously this robot, a demon, a jinn. Type it in here. And so that's 10% of my audience is jinn. Minimum. Right? There could be more in here. I put it like this. I trade the whole other team. I do. Why? Because I'm the one to beat. They can't beat me. All right? It's so funny. All right, so that's it, people. I don't know what to tell you. If you don't get the trust, I can't help you. I can't help you financially. I can't help you spiritually. I mean, you get all the free government money, right? Get all the free money. Not have to pay taxes. Every business gets out of taxes. How many times I got to say this? Twice a week live for this many years, and I can't even get double figures and people showing up to come here. I mean, what's going on? I don't even watch TV, so I don't even know what they're talking about on that thing no more. I don't. I don't know what people attention goes to, but it isn't the truth. Because I'm here, spending my time to go live for less than 10 people for free. What am I doing here? What am I doing here? Right? What am I doing here? Nobody, 2 people may donate after a decade of saving homes, getting people EIDL, PPP, removing all your debt. Here's your free government money. 2 people made a donation to me from losing so much from Hurricane Ian. 2. I will remember them. You see, but the rest of you, we're going to move to subscription-based stuff. Now the free stuff's over. That's over. Y'all don't appreciate it, so it's going to end. You see what I'm saying? You get no appreciation back, so it's just got to end. This is only for the elite few, and there are only 7,000 humans here. So, and only, what? How many of them am I going to be able to free? I don't know. Double figures? I don't know. That would be a high amount, I would think. Human intelligence is a hoax. Don't you see it? It's a hoax. You can't break your programming. You haven't broken a single inch of it. Someone else has to do something and go, oh my God, what have they done? That hasn't been done by someone else, right? Oh, no one could climb that mountain. You just climb that mountain? What? What do you mean you climb it? Get some video? Yeah, I got video. The watch, I'll go climb it again. Well, watch, I'll go climb it again. Watch, I'll go climb it 50 times. Right? I'll go climb it 50 times. Now I'll do it in the trust. Now I'll do this. I'll go climb the mountain with proof several thousand times. Right? And no one else has got a single proof they ever climbed that mountain. Now what? You follow me? Unless somebody's doing my work. So I'm gonna move to subscription based stuff. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna prove the free home technology and stuff. And what, you know, I mean, I'm just saying, like, what's the point? You follow? So I have to move to subscription based just to be able to keep the school open and keep professionals working. Because you got your stuff, you're like, okay, I know this, and you're like, okay, well, let's get the free stuff from Jack, and because what can you give back to me that's helpful? A testimonial, right? Because that's proof to others. But I always have to give people discounted work and free time and stuff like that to get a testimonial. People don't send them like just on their own. That never happens. So very rare that it does. And to people that have done that, I appreciate it. But it's rare these days. So, all right, that's it. Want to get free? Yeah, guess what? It's not possible to get free in any way, shape, or form except for someone who has, produced the proof that they have that freedom you're looking for, right? Not talking, doing, right? Financial, freedom of motion, can't be put in a cage, on and on and on. All the freedoms that you get at this, right? So if anybody has any questions, any thoughts or whatever, I'm going to move to, more of a, not a live thing. If you want to get into the live, I'll be doing it for a little bit until we figure out the technology. But, look for a subscription-based thing. This is a school, after all. You see, there are some elite students who are great things that would like to have me live, that would like to ask these great type of questions that I went over today, that really want to know everything. Or they're in the middle of a process, like, oh, that's the questions I got here. What about this? What about that? You see what I'm saying? They're all questions of what you're doing. So, I had someone also ask today. I got one email. I just want to do this one final thought before I jump off. I got an email. Hey, can you come up? We're gonna do court on something in Pennsylvania. I'm like, what would be the fee to come in person? Okay, I was like, well, my direct expenses would be like taking a train and a sleeper, like $1,500 either way. That would be like, say I'm up there 2 days, so 2 nights a hotel, $200 a night, and then get me for $1,000 a day, which is pretty cheap. So that's 5 days, including my travel, right? So I'm at $8,500, and people are gonna be like, "What? What? Who else is gonna help you? No one." You know what I mean? And that's why I teach from here. Half hour of my time is like $297. Very reasonable. Now, what's the point of me going there? Come on. You're supposed to know how to do this. I teach you. You do, right? If you only have intellectual knowledge, you haven't done anything. Well, you never learn anything. I can't help you. You see, this is a school. It's not. And then see what happened was after I got that email, I got like a second look at an email. It's like, well, how much would it be to represent us? It's like, represent you? No, I would never represent anyone. I'm not a lawyer, and I don't recommend that. I teach you how to be present. I don't need you. Don't You're present. You see what I'm saying? You don't need someone else to be. Well, they're not here, so I'm going to represent them. It's like, no, you're here. I'm going to make your brain have the information you need, and then you're going to be here. So you're going to be present. No representing. No way, no how, no shape, no form. What's the point of that? Then you're still just a slave that hasn't done anything. No way, no how. No way. Would I qualify for the free cash benefits? I'm married with personal, but my husband is with a personal. I don't know what that means. But my husband is not involved in my trust, but makes a lot of money. Who cares about you? Your husband is your. Yeah, let's unpack this. Yeah, yeah. Ah, okay. People own nothing and control whatever they can control, right? But they own nothing. People own nothing and always have and always will. It's not possible to own anything. Why? Because only corporations can own things, right? A trust, a person, a LLC, a C corp, and there we go down the list, right? Those things can have uh, assets. Assets can only have corporations as owners. Do you see? A bank account, stocks, and so on. You have to choose an organization type to own it. And so people run organizations. They are not organizations. Your husband is not an organization, okay? And your whatever, whatever thing makes you a husband, him a husband to you, is that's between you two. You see what I'm saying? That's a private contract you two made. You and your husband. It has nothing to do with the government or nothing like that. That has nothing to do with anything. You see? uh, they're, you know, trying to get you legally entangled your persons, even if you did oh, we'll do the legal person entanglement of whatever. That's still just your persons. Those are separate entities from your trust, and neither one of them are you anyway. You write your person, then you don't do anything with it. Then your person, not you, because we're just talking about you, right? You run two businesses now. What is your person? You're forced to run it. What is your trust? You chose to run it, right? So your person, you give it nothing, and so it qualifies for all the government and everything. Doesn't have to do with whatever your business, whatever your husband is doing with his person, which he shouldn't be doing anything with it. But if he's locked into something, he should get out of it, right? He should get out of the W-2, W-4, and get into a W-9 where he could use a trust and be the same sitch as you are. You see what I'm saying? Make money and get all the free money from the government that they have. That's what this is. This is the hack. This is what the wealthy elite do. They made this legal. This is all legal. You're a slave of the devil and the government until you do this. And don't you think they owe you at least a little payback? They owe you everything. You see, everything they have, they owe it to you. You see, aren't you going to get anything back from them? Anything? You follow me? This is the legal way to do it. Why would you choose other hoaxes? It's just simply legal way you get money and don't give the government money. Give them nothing, take from them everything. That's it. This is the only way to do it. Okay? So, yeah, it's a great idea. Thank you, sister. But I hope you understand what I just answered your question. Uh, you follow me? It's simple. Once you open the trust, it's already done. It's just this mental hurdle in your mind that is blocking you, thinking, "Oh, I got this potential problem." No, you don't. There are no problems with this trust. What? No. K. If her home has a mortgage on the property, can you still put the home in a trust? Yes. If your county follows the law, you pay a fee. Yeah, you can, and I teach how to do that in the mentor program. Absolutely, right? There's an acceleration clause in your mortgage, but they don't accelerate if you just pay the mortgage, right? So what do they care? They just care. What's the acceleration clause in a mortgage for? In case you refinance, right? They want to get paid off, right? They don't want to be behind someone else's finance. That's what it's for. If you're not refinancing and you're still paying, what do they care? They don't care. So you put it in the name of your trust. You go down and get rid of those property taxes, right? Yeah, that's the answer. And that's why I need to move to a subscription-based thing. The whole time I'm on here, no one on YouTube can see me. It's just I'm hidden, 100% hidden. I'm a favorite of everyone or whatever. I'm on your lists of playlists or whatever of everyone on here. Literally every single one except 69XXX Fun. Right, that's the only interloper in here. You follow me? So that's why moving to a subscription-based thing makes more sense. We won't talk about like the basics of rudimentary, like, basics to people that don't know about the trust. That's what the trust crash course is for. I just won't do that anymore. That'll be a canned course. We'll pay it, and that's it. And we'll make it subscription for all these questions and stuff. Because that's what you really need is me doing this. not doing the sales thing. So that's where we're going to be moving to that. Okay. All right, everyone. I don't know. I'm here to help, but I can't help you if you don't get that trust, right? If you don't get the trust to get in there and do the work and study, and you don't have the knowledge, well, I can't help you. You have then you take that knowledge and you put it into action. Anytime you have a question, jump in the classroom, right? The online private forum. I'm in there. I'm the moderator. I get you an answer super quick, right? Everything's easy for everyone here. The only thing that's difficult is your programming, right? Your programming is difficult to overcome. There's no proof of what any other accountant says. There's no proof of what any other lawyer says. There's no proof, right? Oh, they go quote a law. But where's their proof? What have they done? Where, if it's an accountant, where are their taxes? Why aren't they posted publicly? All my stuff's public. I'm an accountant. Why don't they do that? Because it's all a lie. Why don't the lawyers do it? Oh, here's my losses that I did myself, and here's my outcomes. Why not? They're all lying. They're all liars. They're all liars. They're not human. Okay, there's 7,000 humans. The rest are subhumans, right? They're between apes and humans, right? They're the missing link, right? Just because they have a human body, that don't matter at all, right? They have parts of men and male and female genders in one. They're the fallen angels. I mean, come on, people. If you don't know what you're up against, you're just going to get beaten all the time. You've got to get this information, right? Or you're just going to be a slave and know nothing. It's sad. Okay, people. Here we go. Have a great J Bob and Dee Dee. Have a great week. There's someone that asked good questions right there, Dee Dee. I gave her a good answer. Let's see if she actually wanted the answer now that I answered it. Oh, okay. All right, everyone, get the trust, get it open, get you, your family, all your assets, get it all safe, and then get the money rolling in, right? Get the cash in the bank account, rolling in. Thanks, government. More cash is better on my end. Giving you zero, better on my end. Following the law, turns out, better on my end. You get zero, and I get your money from now on. Hooray. Turn the tables. That's the easy way to live life. Doing it, Dee Dee. All right, say the prayer. There, Baba. Jesus Christ, watch over Dee Dee and her family and give her success. I mean that. All right, people. We'll see you Thursday, and I'll give you an update on what we're going to do with subscriptions, live, stuff like that. I'll keep you posted on how we're going to change this up, and so I can give you more direct, answers to the students, and we'll get rid of some of this live kind of trust crash course. We'll get into really the meat of the situation with the students, okay? And subscription. All right, Dee Dee.